Well, hello, everyone. This is Audrey Codner from ACG Math Tutoring and also the owner of You Can Tutor. The subscription is coming soon. So I hope you guys are excited just as much as I am. We have Miss Heidi back, and I can't wait to hear everything that's going on with her, how things are improving. And if you don't know Heidi, you're going to know her at the end of today. So let me welcome in Miss Heidi Erickson. Hello, Heidi. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Thanks for having
So,
me.
not a problem. Thanks for coming on back. This is great. So, if anything, just for the people that are do not know you, can you just like give us a little synopsis of who are you?
Okay, I'm Heidi Erickson. I live in Wisconsin, and I used to be a classroom math teacher for in the public schools for about 5 years, and then I taught algebra and was a math specialist at a private, small private college in our town for 10 years. Then I had children, brought the children home, and stayed home with them. Homeschooled for a little bit, and as I was homeschooling, I was asked to tutor people who knew I was a math teacher would ask me, and kids came in when my own kids were napping. I would tutor high schoolers at my dining room table, and never really advertised or looked for a lot of that work. Once in a while, I might throw an ad out there when you used to put ads in the newspaper and pay for that. I did a little bit of that, but over the last year, I've started tutoring math online. So I always say, what started during nap time at my dining room table has turned into tutoring kids from across the nation, from California to New York to Texas to Wisconsin, all online over Zoom.
And now expanding to North Kakalaka.
Yeah.
So that's great because it is definitely one of those areas that is needed. So if anything, like what have you noticed with like some of the clientele that's been coming to you for these sessions?
Mm-hmm. I tutor algebra through pre-calculus, and my first initial meeting with a student, I offer 25 minutes of free homework help, and they bring me their homework questions. And what I'll notice is when they're stuck, they usually have some skill or knowledge gaps that they don't know how to do. It could be factoring, could be fractions, could be decimals. Um, Even pre-calculus kids, I've had to review factoring and working with fractions with pre-calculus students sometimes. So sometimes also their class just goes too fast for them, and they're not stopping the teacher, slowing down and asking, and they need it explained a little slower, maybe another way, a little more in depth in a way they understand.
Yeah, because definitely I think even since the pandemic, it just seems like the curriculum really did speed up. It's almost like we're trying to catch up, but that's just not the way to catch up. So have you noticed that as well? Like, a lot of them are saying, I just can't catch up. I feel like I just can't catch up.
It goes fast for some of them. I know class goes fast. And one thing I try to do is teach students how to prepare for a class. If they have a textbook, they can pre-read. If they have access to the lessons online or to the textbook online, to look ahead at what's coming. To get to class a little early, get your notebook out, be prepared where you sit. I've also, encouraged some of them, if you don't understand how a teacher goes from this line to this line, you need to stop and ask, because if you have the question, there's probably 10 other students who have the question. And a lot of them don't do that. They get stuck in class and they're lost, and they never realize what they need to do to do that until they see a tutor. So just kind of teaching them some of those skills and encouraging them to do that.
Yes. I mean, everyone thinks that, oh, that's elementary, but it's not because they still have to learn to advocate for themselves, even in middle and especially in high school, because they're going to be making that transitioning out of, the whole hand holding and let me make sure you're doing your homework phase. Because when you get to college or get to life, you're not going to have too many people that are like, oh, did you pay your bills today? No, the bill collectors are just going to call. So,
Mhm.
and all that. Um, but if anything, when it comes to the construct of, because you mentioned, especially when they're coming from for tutoring, we're not just like just tutoring just the math. But I know a lot of people, especially tutors that are watching this, they're always asked, like, how do you get your clients? Like, tell me about that great strategy that you did like last year.
Well, I just had been listening and studying some marketers and marketing. I'd taken some marketing classes online, and I heard someone say, hang out online and in person where your ideal client hangs out, and provide value, make offers to help them. Go out, meet people, tell them you're a math tutor, and make offers to help them. And so this lady, I know it was a completely different area of service, but she created a Facebook page. And so I created a Facebook page called Math Tutoring Explanation Point. And on this whiteboard I wrote a math problem on it, took a picture of it. I'm very low tech. And I just got lots and lots of people asking. And my kids were still in school. Both of them were still in school at the time. And so their friends know that I was a math teacher. And so I got referrals from that. But I did get referrals, and then I learned how to go into other Facebook groups. And I learned there are hundreds of Facebook groups. And some of them don't allow you to post, but some do. And it's a little bit of a hustle to get students. Now, this year, my second year, I have repeating students. Students who are in geometry are now taking Algebra 2, and they kept me on. A lot of them are preparing for their ACT test, so they've hired me to do that. And then I've had word-of-mouth referrals now, which is really nice. One student had success last year, and they passed my name on to someone else who was struggling, so that's great. But there's so many. I hear a lot of people say, don't know where to get clients, and I feel like people just need to try things. Take action. Make a flyer, post it. Go to a networking event. Tell people you're a tutor. I get people all the time at my health club after the workout early in the morning. They're like, what are you doing the rest of the day? Well, I got a tutor. What do you mean? Well, I tutor math online. And they'll be like, oh, I could use you. I spent 45 minutes crying last night over with my 7th grade daughter who didn't know how to do the homework, and I didn't know how to help her. And so I just think it's different for everyone. It depends on your personality and that, but you can't be afraid of people saying no. You can't be afraid of maybe looking a little foolish, and putting yourself out there is a risk. But it's also how you get clients.
Exactly. Like I got some at sushi restaurants, or most recently, I got one at a pizzeria that I was just kind of hanging out, and I'm seeing a grandmother and a grandson trying to figure out what the tip should be. And they're like, there's a way to figure this out. And I'm like, hi, I'm a math tutor. And they're like, sit down to figure this out. I'm like, dude, it's this. And they're like, my son, I got 3 other kids. And all of a
Oh,
sudden now I got 3 people from one family just by being aware of listening. Because even parents, you never know how you can get a tutor because no one told you. So we're all sitting here like, well, we as tutors were like, we don't know how to find parents. And then parents are like, I don't know how to find a tutor. So it's almost like put it into fruition. Just like, please, Lord, send me a tutor. Or like, where should I go? Type in the search engine for Facebook and whatever particular math tutor that you want. Like if you want to say 7th grade math, type in 7th grade math. You'll see so many people, especially us, we'll be there. Or if anything, just be observant and talk to your family and friends to see if maybe they know someone. And it'll be funny if it was one of us and you're like, I saw them on this video. So but if anything, the next part is like, what makes you unique? Because like you mentioned, there's so many math tutors. Like we basically have like the same type of clientele. But it's not just us. There's like zillions of us out there. So what kind of makes you unique?
um, I get results for my students very quickly. After a 25-minute homework help session, most parents see that I can connect with their kids and help them make progress. And I think part of that comes from I've been doing this for 35 years. I started tutoring when I was 20 years old in college. I was a math major, education major, and when parents called the university asking for an Algebra 2 tutor, my professors would recommend me, and I loved it. Did it in our college library and loved seeing students, the light bulb go off. I love that. And when I taught at the private college in our town for 20 semesters, I taught all of the Algebra 1. It was called Math 001, but it was like high school algebra. I taught that for 20 semesters. And I collected the kids' work. I graded their work because I only had 2 classes a day, so much different than high school, right? And the rest of my job, I was a math specialist. I did tutoring of all the other college math classes, math workshops, things like that. So I had so much time to work with those students, teach those students, correcting their homework, and then going back and reteaching the next day. And these are all students who they got into college, but they tested into algebra. So they were struggling math students. And so many of them were ready to learn math because they were older, more mature. They didn't have the pressure of, the high school, they weren't ninth graders anymore. And so I got really good at figuring out what a person was missing to make it to the next step. So what happens on a call, it doesn't matter if it's algebra 2 or pre-calculus or geometry, when a student can't do a homework problem, I can see all the missing gaps they have and what they need to do in order to do that problem. And I can make up questions on the fly. I can, if they need to practice some factoring or they need to practice solving 2-step equations, I can make up questions and they can have success bit by bit until I work them up to do the problem. And then when they sit in class, they don't know. And you start to feel dumber and dumber and dumber and hopeless, right? And so on this tutoring call, I find out what they do know. We start there and I make up more and more problems until I get them up to where they can be. And I feel like I just do that really quickly. And some of that just comes from, I've been doing this for so long.
And it's it's your personality as well. Like you can get the sense that you want everyone to be successful, like all your clients and even your future clients, you want them to be successful. You want them to feel heard and not to be afraid of saying, I don't know. Because kids generally do that. They love putting that mask on, like, yeah, I know everything. You don't. It's okay. It's okay to ask questions. And I believe, because I know you, that you create a safe space that, regardless if it's in your home or if it's online, that you give them that safe space to be vulnerable enough to say, I don't know. Can you help me? Because that seems like that's the hardest words to say nowadays. I don't know why, but it just seems like that's the feel. Nice. So, okay, we got a great tutor here. Now, parents, you're just like, I don't know if my child really needs a tutor. So, like, if anything, Heidi, just on your accounts, like, what do you think parents should look for to kind of give the alarm, like, okay, yeah, my kid needs a tutor and I think I should take the plunge?
With teenagers, if their kids are really crabby, if they're really crabby, I've had parents come back and tell me they are in such a better mood after tutoring. And what I think it is, they have hope. They're feeling encouraged. They're feeling just hopeful. And when kids aren't hopeful and they're feeling discouraged and they're feeling not intelligent and they're maybe thinking everyone else knows how to do this but me, they're going to be crabby. Homework avoidance. A lot of times they're not doing the homework because they can't get any traction. They don't have success doing it on their own. And once they meet with a tutor and they get a little bit of success, and then they want to do. So I think some kids who avoid homework, it might be that they need help. Of course, grades going down, but I will say I've tutored a lot of kids that they come to me when they're getting a D and we get them up, but it takes a lot of work. It's much easier to start in the beginning of the year or a couple weeks into and just make sure they're mastering everything. And then, cutting back on tutoring if you need to, but mastering everything from the beginning I've had that experience now this year. Because last year, a lot of my clients came to me when they were failing at mid-quarter or quarter, and we got them up to passing, A's and B's. But it's much easier now that a lot of them started with me in September and they're thriving because they're getting their questions answered every single week and they're mastering the material every single week.
Exactly. And I know because some places, I know Florida, they're in second quarter right now. Some other places are in second quarter, I think California, if I'm not mistaken. But a lot of parents are like, you know what? Let me just have them work out this quarter. And then let's see if we do need tutoring. Or it's great that a lot of schools have after school tutoring, but a lot of those are other students. And those other students have their own academics to pay attention to. So eventually this happens every year and people keep saying, Audrey, you're making it up. And I'm like, no, I'm not, because that's how I get really packed
Mhm.
towards the end of the year,
Mhm.
because now the kids that are usually taking AP classes, they got to get ready for their own AP test. So
Mhm.
they're not going to be as readily available as, like, say, a private tutor. And private tutors, we can make some flexibility with our times. Some people like to go late, some people like to go early, but there is more of a flexibility than, like, say, a big name tutoring business, which usually closes at exactly 7:30. It was usually like their last appointments. And if you have a child, like I have a lot of students that are athletes,
Mhm.
or they're academically inclined, or some of them work after school, and then when they come home, everything's closed. There's no resources. So plus having a private tutor, you can make that arrangements. Like for me, I'm one of those crazy ones that will tutor until midnight. Because I'm in the East Coast and I have kids in the West Coast, and there's that crazy thing called time zone. Some days I'm like, hey, I don't know what kind of loopy chick you're gonna have today, but a fun session.
Mhm.
But it is. These are the things. Like, if you see your kid is struggling, don't wait until it's like complete danger zone, because they're going to feel overwhelmed. You as a parent going to feel overwhelmed. And then all of a sudden you're thinking that the tutor is going to be basically a miracle worker. But a lot of times it's just really building up that child's confidence, as Heidi is saying, that if we can do some things to build the confidence, help with the organization, so we're not just tutoring math. We're also looking at the child or the student holistically. So we're really reaching out with their organization. We're building up on their confidence. We're helping them make connections so they can remember which formula will go with what situation.
Mhm.
So these are awesome. So if anything, we have our next part, which is coming attractions. Like, are you available? Do you have openings? Let's go
Yes,
on.
I have some availability now, but I will have more. I also tutor the ACT math portion, the ACT test math. I do a lot of that, and I have students taking that this Saturday. So I have openings on different nights. Some nights I'm full, but I'm flexible. I know some tutors like to have, you need to come every Monday night at this time. I'm very flexible because I can be. And if a student has a test on a Monday and they don't have any new material, I will see them on a Friday or a Saturday before to prepare for the test, and we don't meet Monday night. So although I have students scheduled, and my schedule looks full, I will have people, for whatever reason, it might be sports, it might be because their test or quizzes on a certain day, they will cancel, and I end up having openings for other kids. But I am going to have some openings after, today I think is my last tomorrow is my last ACT prep session for some students who are taking the test on Saturday.
Okay,
Yeah, I
great.
have openings.
Come on now. You know you definitely want Heidi
You
in
know what
your arsenal.
I love to do is I don't want any parent paying me or hiring me until they know it's a good fit. So I like to offer a 20 to 25-minute homework help session. I help kids with their current homework problems or questions that they have over Zoom. And after that time period, parents can decide if they think we're a good fit. And then if we are, we can make a plan to work together. And
That's
that
good.
25 minutes gives us a good amount of time to see if we think we're going to be able to work together in a way that's productive.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, that's great because a lot of people generally do not offer that service.
Mhm.
So, like, if you're a parent and you're just like, ooh, that sounds more like my speed, definitely. So, let's figure out, hey, how we're going to reach Heidi. So, remember, Heidi goes everything from algebra all the way up to like pre calculus, again, with the SAT and the ACT. So, if you're interested, like, where can we reach you? How can we find you?
Here we go. My website, www.mathtutoringwithheidi.com. My email is mathtutoringwithheidi@gmail.com. And you can text me or call me at 651-295-0550. I also have a Facebook group that you can ask permission to be a part of, and I will contact you and make you an offer to meet with your student through that. It's called Math Tutoring Explanation Point.
It's like right to the point. Just in case you didn't figure it out, it's about math tutoring.
Well,
Okay, that's it.
I thought, what can I name my Facebook group? And I'm so excited about math tutoring. It feels like an explanation point to me because to me it's so fun.
Right? It's work. Look, it works. It definitely works because in fact that she's able to get as many students and help as many families as she could possible just through that. It's just a wonderful thing. So again, if you want to reach out to her, again, you have it up on the board, but then you also have it down below. We got the website with mathtutoringwithheidi.com. We have her email, mathtutoringwithheidi@gmail.com. Then we also have her phone number. Please text. This is important, text because I know she's going to be with clients. So I think your best bet will be like texting through that.
Yes.
And then also Facebook. This will be, especially if you're one of those people that like to be on social media on the slide when you're at work, you know who you are. Go with the Facebook tutoring and just basically put in what they put in the class, their class name, what was their grade, what was this whole structure of it.
Oh, I usually just tell people to message me back with the math class their students in and the grade in school that they're in. If they message back with their grade in school and what math class they're in, I'll get back to them and I'll find out their time zone and I can easily set up a Zoom call where we do the homework help.
So
and
mostly,
if we're not a good fit, your child gets free homework help for the night. It's a win-win.
that's what I'm saying. So like if you really want to just jump right into like the homework help, the best part will probably go to straight to the Facebook group and then sign in, fill out all the little bits of information. She's making it really simple and easy for parents. We understand you don't have time to text, you don't have time to write a whole novel. You just want to get right to it and then just get this crazy problem or stress resolved. And like she said, she gets results quickly. So that is Miss Heidi Erickson. Go ahead, Heidi. Do you have any closing
I was
thoughts?
going to say on my website, the top one there, www.mathtutoringheidi.com, there's a form on there that is easy to fill out that asks for that information, including your time zone. And you fill that out, and I'll get back to you with if you want to set up a time, or I can answer questions, or that's another place you could fill out a form.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, Heidi, thank you so much for being on Two Tutors Talking. I, as usual, love talking with you. It's always a joy. I hope you had a good time.
I did. Thank you very much. It's always fun to
No,
talk to you, Audrey.
right? Well, once again, this was another great episode of Two Tutors Talking. This is episode 51.
Wow.
I know. It's so crazy. I can't believe that this is starting and it's starting to grow. But again, if you are here, if you need tutoring, you have Heidi. If you want to get in touch with me, you can just go to acgmathtutoring.com. You can go to my website and ask all the information. If you are a tutor and you would love to also be on a guest spot on Two Tutors Talking, please come message me. You can message me almost on almost every social media except for Discord and Snapchat. I feel like I'm on everything now. So if you ever just want to drop a line, you can. So this is another episode of Two Tutors Talking, and we will talk with you next time soon. Take care.
Bye. Thank you.